Okay, so we did the first part of Jonah 1:6. Now let's finish Jonah 1:6 and learn some more stuff. And so see this Hebrew here? See if you can pronounce it. Pause the video and try. And here's how I would pronounce it. Vayomer lo malak. Malaka. Nir dam. All right, so Vayomer is a very common word in the Old Testament in Hebrew. I would learn it. I would memorize it. I'm not going to test you over it on this one, but it's worth memorizing. Vayomer. It's in like all over Genesis 1. And God said, Vayomer Elohim Yehi Or. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. So Vayomer, you recognize the Vav, right? That's and. This is a past tense. With these particular kinds of, we used to call them converted imperfects. That's not very nice way to call it. But anyway, the accent is usually on the second to last syllable, vayomer, just something to tuck away. You don't need to know that, but it basically means, and he said. Lo means to him. Now I want to focus on lo. Lo, I am with you always. No, it's not that lo. So this is, you know the la, right? That's to. But now I want you to know the Cholam Vav, which is him. We call that a pronomial suffix. More on that in a second. And he said to him. The first part is to. The second part is him. Lo, to him. Ma. What's up, ma? Ma means what. It's a question word, you know. Ma, what? And then laka looks similar to lo, doesn't it? Lo, laka. Well, this is la, which means to. And this is you. So Cholam Vav is him. The kaf with a kamatz in it, I don't know why they did it like that, but anyway, a kaf with a kamatz in it is you, and it's you singular. And it's not only that, but it's you masculine singular. It's talking to Jonah, right? Jonah's a guy, and he's one guy. So ka is how you do it. Ka never stands by itself. The Cholam Vav never stands by itself, but it is connected with some other word. We call this maybe an object suffix. So it's to what? To him. Or to what? To you. And so Cholam Vav, him. Ka is you. All right. And he said to him, quote, what's up with you? You know, what's up with that? What's up with you, Jonah? You're sleeping here. The water's going crazy. You know, everything's crazy and you're down here sleeping. What's up with you? And then he calls him being asleep one. Mirdam. I won't tell you about that. That's way down the road to explain how that one word means being asleep one. Oh, what's up with you, sleeper? Something like that. Okay, so a little bit later on in the verse, we're going to get lanu. And we have lo, we have laka. What's lanu? Nu is us. We are the knights who say nu. Nu means us or we, something like that. So again, to systematize to us. So to systematize what we're learning in this video, we're learning about pronomial suffixes. We're learning 3 of the pronomial suffixes in this video. We're learning him, to him, and the lam. It could be something other than, it could be bo, in him, or it could be baka, in you, or it could be banu, in us. So the la is just what happens to be the preposition here, or the word here. It doesn't have to be a preposition. It's the Cholam Vav at the end of something that can mean him or his. The ka can mean you or yours. And then the nu can be us or ours or something like that. So these are pronomial suffixes. Well, what are you talking about? What is a pronoun, Ken? You ask? Well, I'm glad you asked that because I have a slide ready. A pronoun is a word that stands in place of a noun. So if I had to say Ken Shank every time, you know, if I want to say Ken Shank is here, you know, that's a lot more complicated than saying I am here, or saying who is he? Well, if I don't know who he is, I can't tell you who he is. I can't say who is Ken Shank. I would already know it. We have these words called pronouns. I, you, he, she, it, they. We use this in place of a noun. It's kind of like a shorter word usually. I mean, pretty much always, that allows us to conserve our breath. You know, we don't have to say it, the Ken Shank, every time. We can say I or he or you and so forth. So that's what a pronoun is. It's a word that stands in place of a noun. What is a person? What is person? I haven't mentioned person, but we might talk about I as a first person pronoun or he as a third person pronoun. And if you haven't studied another language before, you might be saying, what are you talking about? So let me give you a little primer here on person in languages. So when we say something, when I'm speaking in the first person, I am speaking. So when the first person is from the perspective of the speaker. So if it's singular, it's I am Ken. Or if it's plural, it's we are men, or whatever. So first person is I or we, the person speaking. Second person is who we're speaking to. And so that's you. I'm speaking to you. I'm talking to you, Mr. or Mrs. or Miss or whatever you are. So you, and in English, we don't usually distinguish anymore between you and y'all. If you're in the South, you talk y'all. Or in New York, New Jersey, uses wasted on the wrong people. It's a Wonderful Life. Go watch the movie. Anyway, but so we don't usually distinguish between you, one person, and you, plural. Although we used to. If you're a King James fan, thou was a you singular, and ye are the salt of the earth. That's a plural. By the way, Greek and Hebrew do distinguish between you singular and you plural. So that's one thing that you get from studying the original languages that you can't always see clearly in the English. Anyway, so I or we are the person speaking, first person. You or y'all are the second person who we're speaking to. And then if we're speaking in the third person, that's we're talking about somebody, a he, a she, an it, a they, third person. So that's person in language. And so the pronouns we've been talking about, which are, go back to the previous slide, him, third person, you, second person, us, first person. See it? So to him, that is a third person, or a third masculine singular, we might say, pronomial suffix. Let me say that slowly. It's a third, meaning it's a he, masculine, because it's a him, singular, because it's him and not they, pronomial, because it's a pronoun, suffix, because it's on the end of the word. Or laka, ka is a second masculine singular pronomial suffix. Second, because it's you. Masculine, because it's Jonah, right? Singular, because there's only one Jonah. I'm having a split personality. No. Pronomial, because it's pronoun, and suffix, because it's the end. And then nu is a first plural, and the first person doesn't distinguish masculine, feminine. We say it's the first common plural because it does duty for both. Oh, thank you. I don't have to memorize two different ones. But anyway, it's a first common plural pronomial suffix. Again, don't worry if you don't fully get this. Because if you got this slide here, lo, lak, laka, lanu, you're okay. Don't worry, that's fine. But I'm giving you the grammar for the first time here, and eventually it'll be like, man, I know that's easy. I know that. Don't repeat that, Ken. I already know that. Well, let me finish the verse real quick. See if you can pronounce it. Pause the tape. Okay, so this is kum, kara, el, eloheka, ulai, yit a shet ha Elohim. So kum is arise, kara is call, el is to, we know that one, to your God. See the ka? Ka. This is second masculine singular, your God, Jonah's God. So here, if it was kind of like the object, to you, here it's a possessive pronoun, your God, but it's still ka, and it's still second masculine singular, your God. Call to your God. Perhaps he will think, perhaps the God will think, interesting that the sailor knows that it's the God. And I don't mean that he thinks that that he believes in him. I'm saying he knows that Jonah believes in one God, perhaps. There might be another way to interpret it as well. But rise, call to your God. Perhaps the God will think about us, lanu, to us, lanu, and not we will perish, and we will not perish. Velo novade. Okay, now I want you, so two things I want you to know from this slide before I finish up this video. I want you to know lanu, to us, the first common plural pronomial suffix. I've already mentioned that from the previous slide, but I also want you to tuck this vocabulary into your brain, and that's the word lo. Lo here, remember we had lo with a hol and vav, that was to him. This is lo with an aleph, and it means not. You should know this. Lo means not when with an aleph. This is a very important word because we're going to see not all over the Old Testament because it's a common word that we use. So good vocabulary to know from this rest of this verse is lo. Okay, so we did the rest of the verse. What do you need to know from this video? You should know the 3 pronomial suffixes lo to him, laka to you, lanu to us. And again, the lamed is not what I want you to remember so much. You should already know that. But the o, ka, and nu as he, him, you, and us. And then I also want you to know this vocabulary word lo, which means not. Okay, so this has been the rest of Jonah 1:6 in Hebrew.